Hey guys, welcome back to Rossoneri TV. I'm Gio and I'm here for the fan reaction for the Genoa Milan match that finished 1-0 to Genoa. I'm with Matt from the AC Milan Bros. Matt, third loss of the season, this time coming around against Genoa, which was a very important match for sure for that third place position, especially due to the fact that we're playing Napoli and Roma next. Two very tough opponents. So we definitely needed to continue that win streak there that we started against Udinese. Didn't go as planned. What did you see wrong with Milan today, and how come we weren't able to pick up a result?
Well, the word I'm seeing a lot of people associate with Milan is boring. There's just when I watch the team, there's not you don't see a lot of again like I touched on weeks ago with you on obviously Rossoneri TV. There's a lot of just individual players, and again, Menez kind of shows that when he's either kind of like a feast or famine player. When he scores goals, everyone's all like, "Oh, Menez is a good player for us," with this and that. But in games like this, if he's your good player and he's your leading scorer, wouldn't you expect him to put goals in or create chances for you? I feel like once his head's out of the game, it's done. At least for him, he kind of just essentially gives up. But overall, I thought the performance was boring. You see that initially, in the beginning of the game, you saw a lot of players getting forward. We created a few chances, but we didn't put anything in. Of course, Menez had that open chance to put the ball in the net. He kicked it right at him a few times. Perrin, who, of course, he could have been their man of the match today. But overall, the team was just boring. Obviously, they've also won nothing. So again, there's just be one step forward, two steps back, so to speak, for this team.
Yeah, well said. And just to touch a bit on the Menez topic, of course, if you would have put those chances in the back of the net, it would probably been a different game. But that's what really distinguishes good players from the great players, I guess. And really, once again, just to speak, it seems like today was the case. Once again, not capitalizing on your chances, of course, getting punished for not capitalizing on them. And I think that was the case today, as we saw. Matt, obviously, Montolivo starting today. I think before the match, people were looking at the lineup and they actually didn't quite digest that very well. Just because he came last game and played a few minutes there against Udinese, maybe it wasn't a very good opportunity for Inzaghi to actually field him. What do you make out of this? Do you think it was good to see him start from the first minute, or he should have maybe came in somewhere in the second half? Obviously, based on his performance.
Well, of course, midweek, obviously, if you guys are familiar with our account, I said that I would like to see Inzaghi experiment with a De Jong, Montolivo, and Van Ginkel midfield. I thought that would have been a good formation to go with. The one thing I do say that Peebo kind of tends to struggle with is when a player at least has a good match. I think he kind of shies away from giving him an additional match to start. With this team, when there's not a lot of midfield depth, you got to go with the hot hand. I feel like he doesn't do that as much as he should. And for a young inexperienced manager, you got to find that midfield and that squad that works, that you see these teams field in, week out. I don't want to compare us, to Roma and Juve, but of course you see them every week. With the exception of maybe one or two guys, they're fielding the same squad every week, and it looks like a legitimate team. Everyone's doing their role. Everyone's carrying on what they need to carry on with. Whereas us, it's every week. It's just a different formation. And I understand we got injuries. There's things that come up, and you got to kind of adjust on the fly. But you got Bonera playing right back, left back. You got these guys just come in here, and it's like a makeshift formation. It's almost like he's picking a formation at times out of a hat. You feel like you don't know who's playing. A few weeks you had Torres playing up front as a striker, and then you had now you have Menez back in there. It's what I see with this is that, but going back, not to get off topic, going back to Montolivo, looking back at it, I think Inzaghi, his mindset with this was to see if he can get Montolivo a full 90 minutes to kind of gauge what type of physical ability he has leading up to the bigger matches versus Napoli and Roma. I think this was the test. I think you won't see Montolivo start. I'd be shocked if you see him start next match, for the simple fact that you do have guys at least that he likes to go with Montari coming back. I'll be shocked if you see him start. I think it was a little early, but I think he tried to push the envelope and see if he can, kind of gauge and garner what Montolivo has leading up to 2 big matches before the break.
And the bottom line of this result, really, guys, I mean, of course, losing to Genoa is never a good thing. Personally, I think they're overachieving this season. Of course, they have a good team. I'm not going to deny that. They're undefeated in 9 straight games. But I still think, of course, they're not going to keep this up for the whole season. And I do think they're going to be dropping points in the long run. But it's just the bottom line of losing to Genoa. Years ago, I know it's not always positive to think about the past or a great past and everything. But it's just saying that really losing against Genoa is a thing that many people will never expect. Of course, this year they have a good season so far. But it's just the fact to try to digest that thing, especially leading up to big matches like we've mentioned against Napoli and Roma. What are our expectations really when facing these teams when we see such a poor display from Milan against Genoa? Some people say we do show up maybe in tougher matches and in bigger matches, but honestly this is discouraging from the way we play today. And as Matt said, a very boring performance was probably the key to why we probably couldn't score or at least get the equalizer today, and we lost our 3rd match of the season. So anyways, Matt, thanks for joining me. Once again, very great input. Hopefully see you next week when we face Napoli. And that's it, guys. Don't forget to follow them on Twitter at AC Milan Bros for great insight, great news. Matt always posts his articles as well on a weekly basis. So be sure to check them out on Twitter. Thanks for watching, guys. This has been Gio signing off for Rossoneri TV.